So the first thing I want to talk about is just in general about childhood obesity. I think that now we've looked at the statistics, and it's the #1 concern for parents for health crisis. And so it's overpassed, drinking and smoking and any other kind of medical issue. When we think about childhood obesity, it breaks my heart because we have such a staggering epidemic, which over 1/3 of our children nationwide. And when we look at cities like Stanton, where the percentage of children that are overweight and obese are over 50%, you realize how staggering this epidemic is. We think about heart disease, we think about diabetes, we think about strokes. You might even think about joint problems. If you weigh too much, it's going to be too big of a stress. Your bones are not designed to hold that much weight. It's the #1 cause for infertility, but there's also psychological issues. And if you ask an obese child about his quality of life, he will answer that question the same way as some kid with the diagnosis of cancer or in chemotherapy. There's also increased depression and anxiety, and there's 4 times more likely to have impaired school performance if they're obese. So this is affecting children psychologically, it's affecting them medically, and it's going to track them for their lives if we can't get on top of this. And what really scares me is that people are taking flawed approaches to dieting, which adults have been using and misusing this whole time, and they're using them to solve this obesity crisis with children. And it's giving them a dysfunctional relationship with food. And so first I just want to make sure you guys understand the psychology of feeding kids. Offer a variety of healthy vegetables and then don't say anything, okay? Don't say, hey, if you eat this, you can have your green bean, or you can have your ice cream, or have a little of this, or just try it. Or, oh gosh, the new thing I'm hearing from all my patients is the schools are telling them that they could have to take no thank you bites. And I'm like, no, don't stop. Because the studies are very clear. If you coax a child, just try it, just take a bite, that child's less likely to pick that food the next time it's offered. So I think we're gonna move into Halloween in general, okay? So Halloween, I have to say, is my favorite holiday. Our favorite foods that we use to inspire ourselves through the holidays is cauliflower. And we make cauliflower like once a week. But I like it because of my ghoulish sense of humor with respect to Halloween. I think it looks like little brains, okay? So that's what I serve it as, like we're having brains for our Halloween treat. And we just take the cauliflower and I'll sprinkle it on a baking sheet, and I'll put olive oil or grapeseed oil. Usually if I'm cooking, I use grapeseed oil, and salt and pepper, and it's like the money shot. It tastes like French fries, but it's cauliflower, and it's awesome, and it looks like brains. The key to making good ribs is to take off the membrane. You use your butcher. I know we're all doing like self-serve at the gas station, all these things. Those butchers are sweethearts, especially places like Bristol Farms. So ask them, see if they'll take off this membrane, because if you don't take off this membrane, see, when you cook it, it just doesn't turn out well. Okay, so this part you want to get rid of. And you just want to put a teeny bit of oil underneath just so it doesn't stick there. Okay, that's it, nothing fancy. And then we've got these great rubs. And so when you look for your rubs, just look for something that doesn't have sugar added to it. The ingredients should be something clear. We are also posting something on our website that you can, a dry rub you can make. But we love both of these. So we took these two and we just made a concoction together, put it in a shaker. My friend Krista hooked me up with this. And you just put it on there. Great little arm workout while you're working on these things. Get it on both sides. And then what you want to make sure that you do after that is just cover the whole thing in foil. So start with it under foil so that you don't have any extra steps like we did. And then we'll put it, try to get this over here, and just cover it up, cover the foil up so that the steam can help cook it all, because you just want those ribs to be falling off of the bones there. So I'm just gonna wrap this up like a little present, okay? And that's it. Put it in the oven, pretty easy, right? So the ribs are 300 degrees for 2.5 hours. The longer the better, right? Because ribs. And you want them falling off. And they don't get dried out because they're all covered up. And I mean, these are beautiful. And so I will tell you, they look really cool. So if you want to serve them, you can serve them like this, or you can pre-cut them, but and don't be hard on yourself. It looks more authentic anyways. When you cut them, they're going to kind of be falling off the bone. So we took the ribs and we placed them over here. We've got a roasted red pepper there, so it looks like the heart. Get a little ghoulish, little guacamole, healthy, but little gross too. Gotta love it. And then we just took some different squashes, zucchini, and so forth to make the guts going there. On those few days a week when I actually have some downtime, maybe on a Sunday or whatever, or when my daughter and I really just get the bug to cook, that's when I'll make like a big pot of soup. And you can make, chicken soup, a lentil soup, you can have some proteins in there, you can have all vegetables. I love pumpkin soup, and actually this acorn squash soup, actually butternut squash soup, is one of my favorites. You'll start with the onions, and you'll saute them with the grapeseed oil that I have always nearby. And you can use it in something like this and put it in there. This is what actually we made ours in. And you just put the ingredients in there, and you just cook it. And it says like 20 to 30 minutes you'll cook it for, and we have the recipe online. The thing is, then afterwards, you want to blend it, because it does taste better when you blend it. I think you get all the flavors pureed a little bit better together. And so I love the hand blender. And the reason I love it is because I like to cut any corner I can. So if I had to put that in a food processor or like a blender, then I'd have to like clean that thing afterwards, and that's just like a deal breaker for me. But this bad boy, you can just, you just blend it down, and yeah, there might be a couple extra lumps. Who cares, okay? Well, and if people do care, then clean the darn blender, but that's not my lane. So just, use this handheld blender, and then you just rinse this bad boy under the sink and you just stick it back in. And this is how I make it, and this is the easiest way for me. So that's the butternut squash soup. Next thing we have is, it's really hard to try to incorporate new fruits and vegetables with kids. And so what I try to do is get inspired by the seasons. A couple of winters ago, we tried dragon fruit for the first time, which was kind of fun. These persimmons, I've been told by my amazing registered dietitians that work for me that, what is it this one that's the sweet one? This is the sweet one that is actually good for food, but this just kind of looks the part of a classic thing that you want to do, that you want to look at as a persimmon. So what we did was we took the persimmons, and then we took like a kind of a more common fall fruit, the pear, and just cut them up. So I've got them here all pre-chopped, okay? And then you can put a little bit of lemon on the pears so they don't brown. That's like my favorite thing to do. I don't have a lemon here, but whatever. And then we've got this amazing arugula. Just put the arugula down. And you can put a little bit of the dressing on just on the arugula, or you can put it on top of the whole thing. But you just set it down, and your kids might not eat salad. They might just pick off the fruit. Who cares? This is all gateway. This is all color. This is just getting them involved. Oh my gosh. And I'm like, things are happening out of thin air. I got a chopped lemon. It drives me, it's my favorite thing to do is put lemon on fruit. I don't know why. But, and then we've got you can put blue cheese, gorgonzola cheese. You can choose not to choose the cheese. I like to have just a variety of food groups at the table. So to add the cheese and the fruit, we're getting more. We've already got lots of vegetables, and we've got our protein. And so you just put all these things on. Now for the dressing, actually, Dahlia, my registered dietitian, she actually put it together, and it's just a little bit of olive oil. And then she found this orange muscat champagne vinegar at Trader Joe's, which was just easy and cheap, and it's a good flavor to go with the oranges. And then a little bit of salt. We've got some onion powder, garlic powder, and if you want, you can make pumpkin seeds, and that's wonderful. You can make them from scratch. You can buy some already made and shelled that you can add to the top if you want to. So if you go to drpatriciamd.com, we'll have all the recipes from today. Kids need to eat healthy for their whole lives, and we can't expect them to be on a diet their whole lives or treat it like a diet. So taking things with stride is actually probably the most important part on really understanding the psychology of feeding kids. Once you get to the table, that's the key, okay? We talk about the good psychology of feeding kids. I think of family meals as like the base camp for mountain climbers. When you're climbing Mount Everest, you climb, 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 and they get to that base camp and they rejuvenate. They get used to the altitude. They get rested up. They get fed. They get warmth. They get clothed. They get whatever they need. You know, we're all going in different directions. All members of the family have different stresses and different things that are going on in their lives. So if we can create these family meals to be really connecting with our families, that can be like the most protective thing we can do for our children. We came up with this term that I haven't even used yet. It's called the real happy meal. And I think now, I couldn't just lead with that because I think you'd be like, what is she talking about? Like waiting for me to put out hamburgers or something. But the real happy meal is the magic that takes place right here. And so creating that for your family, the nutrition, hey, we're just gonna start adding fruits and vegetables and we're gonna get there. But this is the money shot. This is the thing you don't need to prep for. And this is the thing that's gonna make, you know, childhood obesity go away, and it's gonna make all of us more enriched. So that's really the most important part. And then, like I said, use those holidays to inspire different foods like persimmons and squashes and pumpkins that kids might not be used to eating. Just interacting with them alone is going to have them be more likely to eat them. For more information about these recipes and more, please visit us at drpatriciamd.com, and please also join us at Serving Kids Hope to fight childhood obesity.